let us appreciate for a moment the neighborhood hike. You know, those places within a few minutes drive that take you into the woods and away from the concrete and the noise. After all, more and more research has shown that sniffing some fresh air in a natural setting is great for your mood and emotional well-being. So for the 1.75 million people in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, I recommend for a Saturday or Sunday morning, Garapito Canyon. Go on, it'll be good for you. The trailhead is located on Reseda Blvd, where it ends at the Marvin, Braude, Mulholland Gateway Park. Directions are in the description. Walk to the top of the road, veering right to this gate. About a minute later, hang a right off the dirt road onto this unmarked trail. Now, if you miss it, you can always continue to the end of the road and turn right. This pleasant, shaded path climbs past occasional views to the valley. It tops out on Mulholland Drive, where you turn right. This road is also known as Dirt Mulholland, for obvious reasons. This particular 8-mile section was never paved and was closed to car traffic many years ago. It was originally built in the 1920s as a way for people to peer down into the San Fernando Valley and imagine the real estate investment opportunities where there were mostly orange groves at the time. And now we look out on the urban panorama and try to imagine it 100 years ago, before the houses, office buildings, and traffic. Oh well, at least the road hasn't changed. After a minute or two of walking, we come to the Temescal Fire Road on the left. Turn here and descend for a half a mile. Keep in mind, this route is also popular for bikers. Lots of bikers. It's best to stick to the side of the road. At the bottom of the grade, we hit a broad saddle. Look to the right for the sign Garapito Canyon Trail and turn onto it. Kudos to the Sierra Club that built the path in the mid-1980s. As you drop into the canyon, it's clear how much work went into that enterprise. We're now hiking through chaparral. That's not a specific plant, but a shrubland plant community that prefers the Mediterranean climate here. That is, mild, wet winters and hot, dry summers. I find it interesting that 9% of California's woodland habitat is chaparral, but it contains 20% of the plant species. Lots of diversity and adaptation there. Now check out the leaves on this guy. They're extra woody and grow in a direction that keeps them away from direct sunlight, which makes them able to last through a hot summer. Now, speaking of hot summers, a fire hasn't come through here in some 60 years. Good for us, but some of the bushes need that fire for the seeds to sprout. So when a fire finally does clear out this canyon, wait a few years and look for the yellow monkey flower and contorted evening primrose to appear. Apparently, this trail doesn't always get enough love. So be prepared for brushing past tall grass, hanging branches, and downed trees. Now on the bright side, you'll see few people, and in the canyon's quiet, you might feel as if that busy valley you just came from doesn't even exist. After losing about 500 feet of elevation, the trail crosses the bottom of the canyon, passing two usually dry creeks. And then it starts up the other side. You now have a 700-foot climb over 1.5 miles as payment for all that downhill you've been doing. Still, it's mostly shaded and moderated by the occasional switchback. Now watch for poison oak on the hillsides and avoid it, of course. Along the way, you might spot this 50-million-year-old conglomerate. A reminder these mountains didn't always exist, and this was once a seabed some 2,000 feet below here. Finally, the route reaches the Backbone Trail, otherwise known at this point as the Eagle Spring Loop Road. Now you can turn left here, or spend a few minutes going to the right in Eagle Rock, a chunk of sandstone thrusting up above everything around it. And oh yeah, it gets windy up here. With luck, you'll be able to look west across the Santa Ynez Canyon and see Catalina Island and the Pacific Ocean. So, continuing our botany lesson, this is California buckwheat. Now, at this time of the year, the flowers are pretty much dried up and the plant's looking a little tired, but that just shows you how drought tolerant it is. By the way, when the flowers and leaves drop to the ground, they contribute to the natural mulch. Lastly, you could make tea or bread from the flowers and stems, and they were once used to treat headaches, diarrhea, and even wounds. Handy stuff. For a bit less than a mile, the road climbs and dips past remnants of the Palisades fire that, in 2021, burned some 1,200 acres here. After a final uphill section, we drop down to the kiosk at Hub Junction. 2.5 miles to go from here. Now turn left. You're back on the Temescal Fire Road for a windy descent back to where we originally left the road at the Garapito Canyon trailhead. Now on this day, we saw a search and rescue helicopter presumably circling about the area for a wayward hiker. Okay, repeat after me. Don't get lost. We continue up the road to Dirt Mulholland and turn right. Watch for the trail we took to get here on the left, marked by this post. Now if you miss it, you can keep going to this steep dirt road that heads left to the trailhead in your car. So, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. You know I post one hike each week. And in the meantime, go to the woods. No matter who you are.